BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Right. Top of the hill in sight. We would all like some quick and simple ways to improve our health. But we're bombarded with often conflicting advice. So, if you were going to do just one thing to improve your mental and physical well-being, what should it be? Maybe a few minutes of sunshine each day to strengthen your immune system, or some dark chocolate to help your heart, or even playing video games to boost your brain power. I'm Dr. Michael Mosley, and this is Just One Thing, where each episode will explore one thing you can start doing today to improve your health or life in ways you might not expect. As you can probably hear, I'm currently clumping my way up and down a set of stairs at home. What I'm actually doing is something quick and simple known as exercise snacking, and that means doing multiple short bursts of exercise during the day rather than trying to fit it all into a full workout. And stairs are a particularly good way of getting in a few exercise snacks. Right. Now I think I'll do a few squats. Here we go. Oh, down we go. Up again. The surprising thing about exercise snacking is that although each session is short, it gives you the same, possibly even greater fitness and health benefits than doing a full 30-minute workout. Doing exercise in short chunks really can help you burn more calories, lose more weight, and help improve your blood glucose and blood pressure to a greater degree than doing it in larger chunks. And it is really easy to fit into your life, particularly if you're not a regular exerciser. You can start with a few short chunks, like going for a walk or, as I was doing, going up and down the stairs, and then build it up. I think that exercise snacking really could be the answer to someone who wants to get more movements into a busy day but doesn't have much time. Well, I'm speaking to Jackie Kogel, who works in a hospital lab, to find out if this is something she would like to try. Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
Hello. So I gather you're pretty busy. Do you manage to fit much exercise into your day?
No, none at all.
That's very, very honest, I have to say. Did you used to be quite active before?
I did. I used to go to the gym 4 times a week, and I was very fit then.
Right, wow. And what stops you doing that now?
It's just my shifts are awkward for me to fit things in.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is very short bursts of exercise, 5 or 10 minute chunks, and I'd like to see you build that up to about 30 minutes a day if you can. It's got to be moderately intense, and so that means, for example, at work, if you can run up the stairs, if you can just go outside first thing in the morning, 5-minute walk before breakfast, 5 or 10 minutes here and there, then that will really add up. Does that sound manageable?
Yes, I can do that on my breaks, yeah. I'll give it a go.
Now, one of the main excuses people use when you ask them if they exercise is they can't find the time. Many of us don't meet the UK physical activity guidelines, and to be fair, finding 2.5 hours to exercise each week can be a challenge. And during the pandemic, it's got worse. One study found our step count fell by around 50%. But the great thing is, you don't have to do it all in big, long sessions. Little and often might even be better. In 2019, a large review of studies found that breaking your exercise into bite-sized chunks was just as beneficial as a single bout of exercise, for both cardiorespiratory fitness and blood pressure. But what was surprising and really good news is that it was even better for reducing weight, body fat and LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. So it's not only easier to do it in chunks, it's actually more effective than a long workout. Why is this? Well, it might be because when you do short bursts of exercise, your body uses more energy. Each time you stop and start, it has to crank up your heart rate and your metabolism. Breaking it up also means you should be able to exercise at a higher intensity, which really helps. In a small study of people with type 2 diabetes, researchers compared the effects of half an hour of moderately intense walking before dinner with just 6 minutes of intense walking broken up into 1-minute chunks. The exercise snackers reduced their blood sugar levels after eating, not only on that day, but also for the 24 hours following. The half-hour walkers did neither. So, how do you go about it? Well, work out what you can manage, like taking the stairs or fitting in a short walk before breakfast, and you will find that it soon adds up. It is certainly better than intending to go to the gym for a tough half-hour bout, but running out of time and skipping the exercise altogether. Let's find out how Jackie is getting on. Has she managed to fit the the exercise snacks, in?
Day 4 of my exercise, halfway through. Today I'm at Larbert Loch, which is just across from my work. I'm really enjoying it. I've noticed that my knees have eased off a lot. They were quite stiff to start off with, but it's definitely improved. I had one day of rain where I decided just to do some squats and take the stairs to do some exercise just to keep it up, and I'm definitely going to continue with it.
It's great to hear that Jackie is finding time to do a little bit of exercise. Every little bit helps. We'll catch up with her at the end of the week to see if this is just one thing she would like to continue. Let's dig further into the science behind exercise snacking with Dr. Marie Murphy, Professor of Sport and Exercise Science at Ulster University. You might remember her from the last series in the opening Early Morning Walk episode, which is still available on BBC Sounds. Marie, I love exercise snacking. Is it a new idea?
It's probably been around for 5 or 6 years, and really the concept is about taking small amounts of exercise spread across your day so that it adds up to a longer bout. Time is the main reason that people give for not exercising, so it fits better. But besides that, it also gives you a couple to 3 opportunities a day to boost your metabolism. And I think that probably adds up to more calorie burning, more energy being expended, because when we stop exercise, the metabolism keeps going a little bit quicker for a while we recover. So if we do that 3 times a day for 10 minutes, let's say, each time, then that probably adds up to more energy expenditure than doing it in one 30-minute bout.
Does exercise snacking work any differently from, say, doing a 30-minute burst of exercise?
No, essentially, Michael, it's the same thing. You're still getting the heart rate up, you're getting your circulation going, you're activating a lot of the enzymes that help with the metabolism and the blood sugar. The only difference is you're doing it 3 times in short bouts. And so, as I mentioned, it may be that by getting the metabolism going a couple of times during the day, you have the recovery time. So you have a little bit more after you stop your exercise, where you still have that metabolic mill turning a little bit quicker. And so probably that's where the difference lies.
One of the important reasons for doing exercise is because it reduces your blood sugar levels and also reduces your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Does exercise snacking help in that way?
Yeah, absolutely. So exercise uses fuel, and that fuel can often be glucose. By contracting your muscles, you activate some of the enzymes on the muscle membrane, which allow the glucose to move from the blood across into the muscle and to get used up. And so doing that regularly and getting some of, particularly our big muscles, our quads and our glutes, so things like squats, brisk walks, climbing the stairs, those are getting the big muscles active, and that puts a demand on our glucose, our blood glucose, and it brings down our blood glucose and helps us to regulate it. And that mechanism helps us to control our blood sugar and probably helps to reduce our risk of type 2 diabetes in the long run.
How strong is the evidence that doing short intervals of exercise might improve your blood pressure?
Yeah, there's some evidence from a couple of studies, one which comes from colleagues in Japan, where they wore a blood pressure monitor all day, and they looked at the effects of short bouts spread over the course of the day with one bout. And they found that collectively, the blood pressure lowering benefit of each walk added up to more than the blood pressure lowering of just one walk.
Is there a sort of minimum amount of time you need to do to get an exercise snack?
So we used to say to people, try to do it in 10-minute bouts. But looking at the more recent evidence, it seems to be that almost any length of a bout will count. But I guess if you're trying to be practical about this and you're trying to get to 30 minutes a day, then I think 10 minutes at a time is probably good to aim for. But don't worry if you can only do it 5 minutes at a time. I think every bit adds up. The key message here is every single minute counts. And so even if you've only got a minute, you can still use that wisely to accumulate towards that 30-minute target.
Presumably things like, for example, taking the stairs. If you go up 2 flights, that's not going to take you a huge amount of time, but that will give you benefit. I believe you've done research looking at the impact of stair climbing.
Yeah, one of my PhD students looked at a bunch of student nurses and got them to climb up flights of steps during the day. Only 2 minutes of stair climbing, but over the course of a day. So they didn't do it all at once. And their blood pressure improved, their resting blood pressure improved, a lot of their blood lipids improved over an 8-week period. And so a really tiny amount of exercise, 2 minutes per day, caused a health benefit that you might not even get from longer, more gentle exercise. So I think stair climbing is definitely a winner.
How does briskness fit into all this? But presumably it's better if you do it at a reasonable pace, whatever you're doing, something to get your heart rate up.
Moving is better than sitting still, so I wouldn't want to put people off by saying it has to be hard and hot and sweaty. The current guidelines suggest that you need to do 30 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity. And what moderate means, your heart should be beating, you should feel warmer, and you should be breathing harder. That's the threshold for moderate intensity, and that's what you're aiming at, to get about 30 of those minutes at some point during your waking day.
Now, our contributor, she works in a hospital lab, and she said she used to do a lot of time in the gym and now absolutely none. What would you advise her?
What I would be advising people to do is to try to find something that you can fit into a busy lifestyle and that doesn't require a lot of extra equipment or changing time. So something like you said there, up and down the stairs is perfect. Can she get a route that she goes down the stairs, out the door, around the building, back in and back up the stairs? And that a couple of times a day, and maybe then something in the evening, that adds up to the same amount as 30 minutes.
So that's the science. Now let's check in one final time with Jackie and see if this is something that has worked for her.
Final day of my task to fit 3 10 minutes of brisk walking into my day. It's been really enjoyable, both mentally and physically. It's definitely improved my health, and I'll definitely continue to fit this into my working day. I've really enjoyed it.
I'm so glad that Jackie has enjoyed the experience and plans to carry on with it. Now I'm getting in my last exercise snack of the day. I've had a short walk and now I'm walking briskly up a particularly steep hill, along with the press-up, squats, a walk this morning with my dog and cycle rides into town. It almost certainly adds up to about 45 minutes of being active today, probably more. I do find getting in my exercises way is varied and also makes it much more enjoyable. The great thing is you don't need to get changed into running gear or set aside much time in a busy day. Just add a few 5 to 10 minute breaks in your daily routine, doing something that gets your heart rate up, and you'll soon see the benefits to your heart, lungs, your blood pressure and your mood. I really do think it's worth giving it a try. Right, top of the hill in sight. So that's it. It's just one thing you can incorporate into your daily routine, which really could benefit your body and life. If you want to hear more of the series, then why not subscribe on BBC Sounds? On the next episode of Just One Thing, how changing your meal times could help you lose weight, lower your blood sugars, and improve your sleep.
Hello, I'm Pandora Sykes, and just before you go, I wanted to tell you about a new podcast, Pieces of Britney, my attempt to piece together the life of Britney Spears and the forces that have forged it.
A huge fan, yeah, absolutely. A fan of not just the performer, but the person.
I think that a lot of people were rooting for Britney to fail, and there's this sort of assumption of, this is what you wanted, this is what you're going to get.
In this 8-part series for BBC Radio 4, I've spoken to cultural thinkers, lawyers, psychologists and key players in the entertainment industry to get their perspective on Britney's remarkable story and enduring legacy.
I used her as an example of somebody who really got what was required to do that kind of work.
We're also using drama to help us look behind the headlines and the conflicting accounts to imagine the woman underneath. Join me for Pieces of Britney. Subscribe now on BBC Sounds.